I want to quickly talk to you about large no-doc business loans. And what I want to do, I want to compare and contrast four players: Shield Funding, United Capital Source, Lighter Capital, and Good Capital. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweet Curious Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to compare and contrast four lenders that specialize in large no-doc business loans. So we have Shield Funding, United Capital Source, Lighter Capital, and Good Capital. Before I get into the actual reviews of each player, let me quickly say that when we speak about large no documentation business loans, we are talking about loans rather that require a minimum amount of documentation. So, for instance, they might ask for bank statements or financial statements or a link up to your accounting software. That's all it is. Because what the lender is more interested in is liquidity. They want to make sure that your business is generating enough cash, enough moolah to be able to allow you to repay the loan back. The APR is kind of high. It usually oscillates between 10% and 75%. The lender might require you to make frequent payments. Sometimes it can be once a month, once every 2 weeks, every week, daily. So you have to really think about, from a liquidity management standpoint, this could be problematic, but it's all about what works for you. In some cases, you might have a large no-doc business loan that can be revenue-based or stated income-based. One thing that we have seen in our research after analyzing hundreds of loans is that industry plays an important role. In other words, the macro of your business plays an important role. And also you want to think about setting up a business, a legit business, so that your business loan will not impact your personal FICO. What I'm trying to say here is you want to have an EIN, you want to have a legit business such as an LLC, LLP, S Corp, C Corp, so that in the end you are able to divorce your personal affairs from your business's affairs. This is so important. Before I get into the actual review, please check out this short loans evaluation approach. We do have a strict method here when it comes to evaluating, categorizing, and listing business loans, including large no documentation business loans. Check this out. Let me quickly start with the first one. We have Shield Funding. When you think about Shield Funding, I want you to think about a supermarket of large no-doc business loans, okay? And all they ask for, they want you to be at least in business for at least 2 months, and you need to have monthly gross revenues of $8,000. This is what it is. They're not asking you for your personal credit score, nothing. They're not asking for your business's credit score. They're only asking your business to have been around for at least 2 months. And generate at least $8,000. Okay, you get a quick decision within hours. They will contact you within 24 hours to discuss your approval. If you have any questions, you can call the number 1-888-882-6117. And one thing that also they want to ask is that they want to make sure that you are able to get back to them ASAP. Bad credit options are available. I want you to see on the screen right now. You can choose which small business loan is right for you. You have several loan options, okay? And one thing I also want to see here is that the steps are very clear. You apply, you fill out the application form, or you can call the toll-free number. They will contact you within 24 hours to discuss your approval. You get funded within 1 to 2 business days, and voila, the whole process is pretty easy. And on Trustpilot, Shield Funding has received an excellent rating out of 189 reviews 4.7 out of 5. So this is pretty good. And you have a constellation of loan options. I want you to see on the screen right now. You have a small business loans for all kinds of FICO scores. Whether you are above 660, between 550 and 660, below 550, above 500, below 500. So they'll take care of you no matter how low your credit score is. One thing I want to say also is that in terms of applying for the loan, it's pretty easy. Okay, you just click apply. You put in your, as you can see on the screen, you put your first name, last name, your email, your phone number, your company's name, your monthly gross revenue, and the amount that you want from them, and click apply. Simple as that. And what will happen here is that, just want to give you an idea. Once you click that, they will give you another form. You can see on the screen here, and this is lengthier. This is more comprehensive. So you put your company information, your owner principal information, the company detail, and you need to understand exactly that once you fill that form, you have to sign, you have to print your name, and you have to date it. And once you do this, click finish, and you will see here that you can see on the screen, it says final step to complete the application. This is where they want your bank statements, your business bank statements. So you need to upload the last 3 business bank statements and send. That's it. Let's talk about United Capital Source, another great player. We love the fact that with United Capital Source, you have a customization of the funding. You have unsecured funds, no personal guarantee, and no collateral required. You get quick funding. You get funded within a few business days. You have a simple and easy application process. The cool thing we love with the United Capital Source is that they have a true, large, no doc business loan, because past credit issues may not be a problem. You can have a fast approval within 24 hours of application. This is wonderful. And they also have a very interesting repertoire of business loans. I want you to look on the screen right now. Isn't that beautiful? That's just fantastic. You have business line of credit, business term loans, merchant cash advance, SBA loans. Wonderful. Invoice receivables factoring, revenue-based business loans for women, bad credit business loans, working capital loans, equipment financing. A large repertoire of large no-doc business loans. That's fantastic. And you can apply in minutes. If you need any help, you want to call 1-855-933-8638. Wonderful. And this is a great lender also on Trustpilot, for example. They have received an aggregated score of 4.9 out of 5, and that came from 1,077 reviews. Wonderful. This lender covers over 100 industries. This is really great. So chances are you are going to find a loan that applies to your industry. That's for sure. Okay, so they cover everything from accountants and auditors all the way to wholesalers, to hotels and lodging, to jewelry stores, to liquor stores. Even, I'm tempted to say they even cover marijuana dispensaries, because we have found in our research that some lenders, they shy away from some industries. Okay, so this is pretty good. If you have any question, you want to contact them, you can also send an email to info@unitedcapitalsource.com. In terms of applying, you can see on the screen here, you choose your total average monthly sales. Here we choose $10,000 to $25,000. You click continue, and you have to actually put how much working capital you would like for your business. We put between $10,000 and $50,000. Click continue, and then here you just have to put your first name, last name, your state, your number. Everything we put on the screen, folks, is fictitious, but in your case, you would have to put the right information, right? And then you click get funded. Once you click on that, they will actually tell you, they have questions, let's talk. You can schedule a quick call, or you can say no thank you, this is really good. And then once you click that, they want you to fill the larger form. So you have to fill the larger form in terms of your business, give them your information, the industry you're in, all that kind of good stuff. Next, you can see on the screen, they want to know more about you, about what kind of industry the business in. is in, right? And how much you would like to borrow. We put here $250,000, and also you have to put the average cash balance of your business. Next, you put more information here, your monthly sales. They're asking you whether you have any current business loan balances. This is something you need to think about. Click next, and then they want to know more about you, about any co-owners of your business, right? You have to put your name, your first name, last name, the percentage of ownership. This is very important. Your date of birth, your social security number. This could be, remember that it doesn't matter. Here we put 550, but this is a large no doc business loan, so your credit score is not going to matter that much. Just want to specify that. And next, you need to attach here. They want you to attach 3 bank statements for the last 3 months. You can see that the process here is analogous to what we had for shield funding. Okay, so when we talk about large no doc business loans, as I told you in my initial comments, they only ask for bank statements or financial statements or a connection to your accounting software. In this case, they are only asking for the last 3 monthly bank statements. And now if you want to get an MCA, a merchant cash advance, they are asking you for the merchant processing statements, if applicable, for the last 3 months. But in our case, we just attached the 3 last bank statements for our business bank account. Next, you just have to sign. You have to sign your name, and you have to click next. And here you have to acknowledge blah blah blah. This is the legal lingo. And so I certify blah blah blah, and click get funded. One thing I want to see here is that, and then the system will take a few minutes to process your info, a few seconds rather, to process your info, and that's it. Thank you for your business financing inquiry. They'll get back to you, and that's it. Remember that at any time you can, if you need help, you can chat. You see the little green chat button to your right. You can click there and chat with the rep. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still comparing and contrasting large no doc business loans, and we are actually comparing and contrasting 4 lenders. We have a Shield Funding, United Capital Source, Lighter Capital, and Good Capital. We have already covered Shield Funding and United Capital Source. Now let's go to Lighter Capital. So with Lighter Capital, things are a little easier here, and we're going to be very quick here. So Lighter Capital, you basically, they actually they fund companies that meet this following investment criteria. So the primary business model is software sales, information technology services, or similar. And this is pretty restricted. So if you're not in an IT startup, you're not going to find Lighter Capital very interesting. Okay, here is a company that accompanies all the IT startups. So you have zero dilution. You keep your equity, board seats, and vision intact. They're just going. So the process is 100% transparent. No hidden fees, no personal guarantees or warrants. You have a quick and easy access to up to $3 million in capital. Okay. The only thing is, again, the funding coming from Lighter Capital is restricted. So for tech companies only, software, SaaS, tech services, you are generating revenue. So your monthly recurring revenue, your MRR, has averaged at least $15,000. This is per month. You are in the US, Canada, or Australia, or you have a subsidiary there. You don't need to be profitable. They care more about the revenue, the profit, the revenue, the liquidity, the cash flow. Okay, but they want to see a path to profitability. This is where a well-written, compelling business plan can be important. And so how does the whole thing work? Basically, with Lighter Capital, you have revenue-based financing. So you retain ownership and control. They will never ask you for any equity, personal guarantees, or a board seat. You get the funding you need, and you pay based on the monthly cash flow. This is something you need to think about, because at the end of the day, this lender is they are specializing in what we call non-dilutive debt capital to startups. The only thing is you got to be in this technology industry, technology space. Okay, so in terms of application, you can see on the screen here, you have to be located. They're asking you, where are you located? You need to be located in Australia, the United States, or Canada. And well, of course, we picked the United States, and they're asking us about, tell us about yourself. So put your first name, last name, your information, your website, your phone number, your zip, your state, your city, and click submit. And once you do that, when you do this, the system will ask you, how much funding do you need? And they say we can extend up to $50,000 in under a week. So here you choose, we chose, of course, we are very hungry. We chose between 50K and 2 million, okay? And next, they're asking you, do you have at least $15,000 in monthly recurring revenue? Of course, we said yes. And the next, they're asking you, do you have at least $15,000 in monthly recurring revenue? I think we already said yes to that. Yeah, and now they're asking you, your, how do you say it? My business is. So we chose primarily services. So it's primarily software, primarily hardware, primarily services, other recurring and other. We chose primarily services. And you have to hit submit. How many customers do you have? We put between 10 and 19. Hit submit. Then they're asking you, have you been generating revenue for at least 6 months? We said yes. Have you been generating, so when did your business start? We put the date, January 1st, 2016. Everything is fictitious though, folks. Everything is fictitious. And one last thing, would you like to connect your accounting package to speed up the process and find out how much you qualify for in seconds? This is what I was telling you. And we put yes. And of course, they want you to select your accounting package. It can be QuickBooks or Xero. And we chose to sync your QuickBooks. And this is where things started. Things stopped, right? Because we don't have an accounting package we want to sync to. But again, from there, it's pretty straightforward. I wanted to show you how the whole process looks like. Now let's talk about good capital. So good capital, when you think about good capital, I want you to think about a supermarket. I want you to think about the Walmart of business loans, large, no documentation business loans. And here, this good capital is a platform. They're not a direct lender. They have a network. Supposedly, they say, they're claiming that they have over 4,000 lenders that offer more than 12,000 loan products. So they're basically saying they have financing solutions for every business type and need. And based on our research, they are right. Okay, they do have the expertise. They do have the breadth and depth of experience to cater to any kind of business. They have fast approvals. They have affordable rates. They have most options. Okay, so this is really good. And they have financing experts. And they actually offer a whole constellation of no-doc business loans. They say they have term loans. They have SBA loans. Of course, SBA loans are not no-doc loans. Okay, just want to specify that. But Good Capital does offer SBA loans, but they also offer no-doc lines of credit, no-doc alternative business loans, asset-based financing, merchant cash advances, bridge loans, and equipment financing options. And if you have, this could be a little daunting. If you need more information, it's just a lot better to call a specialist. And the number is 1-866-526-0238. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So you can talk about large no-doc term loans. And here we're talking about term loan rates from 5 to 20%, approval rates above 70%, term loan length from 1 to 30 years, and business line of credit rates 5 to 15%, line of credit terms 1 to 3 years. In terms of application, you can see on the screen here, you just go to the types of business loan, you choose your business loan, and you put your information, first name, last name, you put the phone number, you put your email, you put how much you need and how much you generate in revenue, and you put what you need the money for and hit submit now. Okay, and then once you do this, they will get back to you. So what they do is they don't have an application online. You have to send your preliminary information, And once you do this, they will get back to you. All right, now we are in decision time. It's very important to understand that you gotta have, so which one do you need to choose? Which one should you choose based on everything we spoke about? There are a couple of questions you need to consider before choosing a large, no documentation business loan. First, how much money do you need? This is kind of important. And what do you need the money for? Because at the end of the day, even though they're not asking you for any kind of documentation, of course they're asking you for bank statements. If they're not asking you for a lot of documentation, it's still a long process and your credit might be pulled. You might have to send them other pieces of information. So you need to be clear about the loan that you need, what you need it for, how long will it take for you to pay it back. You also need to think about how long you have been in business, because some of these lenders, they have a minimum operational history. We've seen 2 months, we've seen 4 months, we've seen 5 months. Those are questions you need to grapple with, you need to think about. And what is the current shape of your business? Very important. And speaking about your business, and this is internal reasons, what about external reasons? What is the macro of the industry you're in? What about cyclicality? What about seasonality? How are your competitors, scraping by, if I could use that term? How much collateral, if any, do you have to put up for the loan? Now, of course, when we have a large no-doc business loan, usually those loans are inherently capitalized. They're inherently collateralized, rather. In other words, if you take, for instance, asset-based financing or revenue-based financing, those loans are by default collateralized, because the underlying asset in this case will be the accounts receivable or the asset or the equipment, if we're talking about equipment financing. And what is your credit score? Simply because we are speaking about a large no-doc business loans doesn't mean that you still do not need to track your credit score, either at the personal level or at the business level or at both levels. Do you have any other outstanding loans? Because the lender is going to verify your DTI. They're going to calculate your DTI, and your DTI will tell them what kind of potential risk spectrum they have to put you into. DTI stands for debt to income ratio. This is basically the portion of your revenue that goes to service your debts. Okay, and are you looking for a short or long-term loan? Even though the loan is no doc, you still have to think about loan maturity here. So after analyzing, comparing, and contrasting shield funding, United Capital Source, Ladder Capital, and Good Capital, our pick is United Capital Source. We have actually scored that company, that lender, 10 over 10. Good Capital, 9.5 over 10. Shield Funding, 9 over 10. And Ladder Capital, 8 over 10. Ladder Capital is great for folks who are in IT. But if you're not, don't even bother to contact them. They're not going to look at you, okay? All right, folks, thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.